Good morning and welcome to a special extended edition of World Watch News in 3. We just want to give you a warning and explain a few things heading into our program today. We know we have kids of different ages and levels of maturity in our audience, and our lead story today is about the protests and riots going on around the country. Now, it does contain disturbing images and difficult themes that may not be appropriate for all viewers. So parents, we wanted to encourage you to take a minute to screen this video first and decide for your own family how or whether to broach the tragic story of George Floyd. Also, we are unveiling a new element today that we're planning to include in our full launch in August. You'll find what we're calling the explainer in our story on Hong Kong later. It's designed to go into more detail about one aspect of an important piece of news to promote learning and news literacy. You're watching World Watch News in 3. America endured a weekend of violence and chaos in large cities across the country. What began in Minneapolis as a call for racial justice has taken a turn. Fires deliberately set, windows smashed, authorities overwhelmed. In Atlanta, outrage.
This is not a protest. This is not in the spirit of Martin Luther King Jr.
What sparked protest was a video that appears to show a Minneapolis police officer killing an African-American suspect in custody. He pleads for air, saying he can't breathe. It shows George Floyd face down on the ground, arms handcuffed behind him, the officer pressing his knee into the man's neck until he loses consciousness. Eventually, he dies. The Minneapolis police chief fired the officer, then arrested him.
Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin has been charged by the Hennepin County Attorney's Office with murder and with manslaughter.
In Washington, the Attorney General is looking into federal charges against the officer.
The outrage of our national community.
Barr says justice will be done. He's also working against what he called violent radicals exploiting protest.
It appears the violence is planned, organized, and driven by anarchic far-left extremist groups using Antifa-like tactics, many of whom travel from outside the state.
Religious leaders are urging calm, and Christian pastors in Minneapolis led prayers for peace.
So God help us. Help us to keep peace in this city. Help us to keep peace in this country. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Godspeed, Bob and Doug.
America has returned to manned spaceflight after a nearly 10-year absence. Astronaut Bob Behnken, there he is in a black polo shirt, weightlessly appearing almost to swim. Behnken's the first to board the International Space Station, followed by crewmate Doug Hurley. The two lifted off Saturday afternoon from Kennedy Space Center as President Trump and Vice President Pence watched.
America has won.
What'd you feel? What'd you experience?
Well, I was praying. I'm not going to lie to you. I was praying. I was praying for Bob and Doug. I was praying for their families. I was praying for their safe return, even though they're just going.
It was a joint mission of the U.S. Space Agency, NASA, and private company SpaceX. The rocket is a SpaceX Falcon 9 reusable launch system. After it carried the Dragon capsule into space, the Falcon 9 landed safely on a drone ship in the ocean. The original plan was to launch Wednesday, but bad weather postponed that. This mission is scheduled for 110 days, and then the astronauts will pilot the Dragon back to Earth. Look for a dramatic splashdown like this test 1 year ago. Now that China has imposed full control over Hong Kong, the United States says it has no choice but to treat Hong Kong that way.
This is a tragedy for the people of Hong Kong. China claims it is protecting national security. But the truth is that Hong Kong was secure and prosperous as a free society. Beijing's decision reverses all of that.
Meaning Hong Kong had been an autonomous city-state inside a communist-controlled country. Hong Kong was a British colony until 1997, and when Britain released Hong Kong, China promised it would remain free. China called that one country, two systems. But last week, communist government moved towards one system. Despite protests, China imposed a new law in Hong Kong that gave the same kinds of police powers used inside the rest of China. The United States now considers Hong Kong no longer autonomous. Now, let me explain what that's likely to mean. Hong Kong has had a special relationship with the United States that China does not have. That relationship made it easier for Hong Kong to buy and sell products with the United States. But now the president says he's taking that away. Hong Kong is a major international center of banking and free economic trade, but without the special U.S. relationship, that may not last. The president is hoping that will pressure China to back down because it does benefit from a wealthy Hong Kong, but then again, so does the United States. Look at this mosaic. That's not a tile setter, that's an archaeologist. He's uncovering the floor of a Roman villa in northern Italy that dates back to the 3rd century. It's buried 3 feet underground in a vineyard, but check out the condition. Stone tiles in bright colors, white, red, pink, orange, intricate geometric patterns as well. Beautiful and not surprising to find Roman ruins in Italy. But Serbia? A Roman ship? In a coal mine? Well, last week, a crane began gently lifting parts of the 60-foot vessel from its resting place of some 1,800 years. A quick history reminder, Rome was founded in 753 BC. Its power grew and grew until it became an empire just a few decades before the birth of Jesus. Eventually, Rome controlled most of the land surrounding the Mediterranean Sea. That includes what is now Serbia. The coal mine is located where Vimanasium was once a major city, part of the Roman Empire. This guy is now the world's highest paid athlete, $106.3 million in the last year. But get this, Roger Federer earned only $6 million of that hitting tennis balls. The rest, endorsements, pitching watches, cars, credit cards, even pasta. Big money in that. These guys, well, let's just say not only are they underdogs, they're underfunded. But don't count out the Jamaican bobsled team, certainly when it comes to creativity. With gyms closed, they're pushing a Mini Cooper to train for the 2022 Winter Olympics.
Yeah, we did get some funny looks. We've had people run over thinking the car broke down and trying to help us bump start the car.
And then like when we tell them that we're a Jamaica bobsled team, their reaction is totally different and they're very excited for us.
We're rooting for them too. Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. Get on up, it's bobsled time. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm the Big Bash. Do make sure that you subscribe below. It's totally free, and it'll let you know whenever there's a new program. And remember, no matter the news, the purpose of the Lord will stand. We'll see you tomorrow.